I've got John joining me on this episode to talk about some updates around CSwap. And I know there's been a lot happening since the last time we had a chat, and that was back at CNFTCon last year in 2022. Fortunately, I couldn't catch up with you this year at NFT XLV, but you're here to get me up to date with everything that's been happening in the CSwap ecosystem. John, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, Pete. Yeah, I mean, I was really sad that you weren't there this year. We had such a great time last time. We actually snuck into the garden at Caesar's Palace and had like a great interview and just had a wonderful dinner, maybe a little bit of wine, you know. But I actually wore some of the gear I picked up at NFT XLV for this interview, so you could feel like you were kind of like a part of it, even though you weren't there.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Well, I figured this was the next best thing, you know?
Thanks. And I know a lot happened at the event, and I missed out on so much because I pretty much turned off Twitter for that weekend, so I didn't have to watch all the fun that you guys were having. But fill me in with what you guys were up to at the event. I heard you did a presentation with the one and only Charles at the NFT XLV.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the highlight of the trip for me, the highlight of highlights, because there were a lot of good times and moments. But yeah, I mean, we got to kind of share what we've been working on with Charles, and you know, I was getting some feedback from my mic into the speaker, and you know, Charles was actually a bit late, and so I didn't get through my entire demo, so I kind of wanted to come and share that with you. But, you know, I had great conversations with so many projects. You know, it was really professionally run this year. Like, you know, Adam Dean, you know, was out and about, you know, shaking everybody's hand and just making sure everything was going okay. And, you know, I have a lot of respect and admiration for him. You know, he's done a lot for the ecosystem, and it was just nice to see, you know, everybody come together. You know, we're looking forward to next year, and I'm sure it will be bigger and better than ever.
Hopefully I can make it next year as well. But, in terms of size of the event, was it pretty much the same as last year? You know, with the bear market, I expected it to be a little bit smaller, but what was the size and the amount of people like this year?
I mean, it was definitely a little bit smaller, but I feel like it was better organized, and it actually was kind of a benefit because we got to spend a lot more time with some of our favorite founders of other projects where maybe they would have been swarmed by fans last time. But it was definitely, you know, a robust, like, dynamic experience. There were a lot of people there. There were a lot of great booths. You know, the IOG booth and the Reflex booth, when they gave me this hat, was definitely really cool. So it was smaller, but I will say that it was definitely a step up from last time in terms of like the quality and the you know, especially with you know, the way that IOG and Reflect you know, showed out there, and Cornucopias, their game's really coming along nice. I mean, there's so many highlights. I hate to just mention, you know, some of the bigger booths, but yeah, I mean, it was really cool.
All right. So what was your presentation all about? I know you guys have been building a lot, so I'm sure you covered a little bit there. Can you take me through everything that you guys have been up to and what you've been building?
Yeah, I'm going to show you actually the DApp and where it is right now. You know, the entire application is kind of in beta. You can see that our marketplace is in beta right now, but we have this landing page here that's easy for people to find, like each of our different modules. I'm going to start by showing you our portal, and you can actually only access this portal if you own a special NFT. So that's kind of the first utility for these, we call these OG Phoenix NFTs. And these NFTs actually tell the story of CSwap. You know, we were some of the original miners of Liquidity for Cardano. We actually started mining Liquidity before Plutus smart contracts even existed. So we earned a token called CSwap, and it was an ERC20 Ethereum-based token. And we had to figure out, our team had to figure out how we were going to convert that to the Cardano native token that will be launching shortly. So we actually used an NFT to create like a migration / vesting contract, and we had to use an Ethereum smart contract, and then also a Plutus V2 contract to stake the NFTs. So I actually hold 3 different NFTs in my wallet, and each one of them, well, I guess 2 of them are staked. This one is unstaked. Is staked in the smart contract, and then you can see up here what my holdings of the ERC20 token were, how much I've harvested, which isn't quite available yet, how much CSwap I have in my wallet, how many OG NFTs I hold. And essentially, this is like a gamified vesting contract. So I'm going to be able to earn these CSXP points, and I'm going to be able to reduce my fees and eventually maybe even reduce my vesting period by participating in different activities on the platform.
Cool, interesting. And I do like that gamification of the vesting period. It just makes it a little bit more interesting for users. I'm assuming there's like different vesting periods, or you can unstake some assets a little bit earlier, or I'm not sure how those aspects might work.
Yeah, so we actually are sharing our team tokens with the original community members, because they we didn't get our DEX. We were supposed to be part of a big DEX on Cardano, and that never happened. So I came from that community, and we started our own DEX, and so essentially they have the same default vesting period as the team, which is 3 years. So every millisecond, more CSwap becomes harvestable, and we thought this was a really creative solution in terms of migrating from Ethereum to Cardano using the NFT. There's several utilities for the NFT here. One of them being like you have to hold the NFT to even access this module. The second being, you can stake it in a smart contract to vest your CSwap. You can also send this to a different wallet and vest it from there. Some folks are actually selling these NFTs on the marketplace, and then other people are able to pick them up and vest them just as if they were the original owners. So it's like a completely new type of vesting contract.
Right.
Yeah. Something that's definitely not possible in Web 2. And so, whenever we create something new with NFTs, we always like to think about real world applications. And essentially, in the future, perhaps folks will use these as time cards, these types of NFTs as time cards. So like normally when you use a time card, you punch in, and that would just be like staking your time card or NFT to the smart contract.
This is time cards for like a work, like a punching in and punching out when you're working.
Yeah. So like, let's just give like a real world analogy. Let's say, Pete, that you owned a cleaning company, and you had a bunch of like janitors that were working for you, maybe at schools or government organizations. And every day they came to work, they had to punch in with a time card. Well, instead of using a time card, they could have one of these NFTs, and instead of you having to manage payroll and everything like that with all kinds of legal contracts and everything, they could just get paid by the millisecond, while they were clocked in. So let's say one of your employees was working for 2 days and they needed a little bit of money, they would just be able to access it in their crypto wallet by harvesting. Similarly, let's say you wanted to gamify your employees and say, hey, if you get 5-star reviews on this social media site, like you'll get a bonus. and all of that could be automatically like integrated into the smart contract, and they could earn experience points or star points or whatever your business wanted to call them. They could earn bonus, they could earn vacation time, overtime, whatever you wanted to do for your individual business, and it would cut down substantially on operational costs. So pretty cool.
That is really cool. I love that tie-in with a real world use case on how you can use this model that you guys come up with for the vesting schedule and then apply that elsewhere. And I love the idea of being able to pull out your pay on a daily basis, especially if you've got a bill, like you might be paid fortnightly or every 2 weeks, and you might be paid next Monday, but you got the bill due today. But you've already earned the money, so why not be able to access it so you can pay those bills and whatnot before they get overdue and you get bad credit rating.
Yeah, and I mean, it's completely trustless too between the employee and the employer. So it's like, it's super nice because you don't have to depend on anybody to do anything. It's like, it's all there in the smart contract. And, you get paid for exactly the time that you worked. And I think it will really help with relationships. Startups can also use this for founder employees, for like stock options or whatever stock options will be in the future. And it would cut down substantially on like legal costs, because if you've ever been involved in a startup, there's all these contracts having to do with stock options and when you can sell them and when you can't. And, imagine if all of that was just encoded into a smart contract. You could verify it on chain, open source, and just have a trustless relationship, between, the founder employees and the entity. This would really make relationships a lot better and also save, substantially on the cost. So, if we wanted to, we could probably go approach businesses right now with this type of technology. But it's something we'll keep in our back pocket for now. It's our own little secret with the Cardano community.
Pretty cool. I think you really need to package it up as a nice sellable module to be able to take it to businesses to take advantage of.
Absolutely.
And probably not even mention the crypto side of things. Just say that you can access your assets or whatever early on. I think that's a really good way of onboarding people.
Totally. And I mean, while we could say a lot of what we're doing is a proof of concept, like, it certainly provides real world value today within the crypto ecosystem, just the way that it is. But, I think folks are really thinking about, real world applications for what we're doing. And I think this is an idea that folks can really like wrap their head around.
Most definitely. What else have you been working on?
So we actually have come out with a couple of our own NFTs, and these are the most recent one, the allies. And we actually built our own SIP68 minter, and we can actually use this minter dynamically in throughout our entire application to mint new assets. So that might make more sense later in the discussion. But these NFTs are the first token-backed NFTs on Cardano. So these NFTs actually have 3 different tokens embedded within the NFTs. So there's ADA, CSwap, and then the partner token that the image represents. So like Unbothered Wolves has the AWU token, and Inmates has the Smokes token. And so these NFTs are actually going to have 3 different fungible tokens embedded within them. So that is really cool.
So what does that mean? Like they're embedded in with them? Like, well, what can I do with that embedded assets? Like, can I sell it and then get them, or what's the idea behind it?
So eventually, when our DEX goes live, because we're building a fungibles DEX, you're actually going to be able to burn these NFTs and then withdraw tokens directly out of the liquidity pools.
Gotcha.
Which is doubly cool because it reduces it increases the scarcity of the collection, because you're removing an NFT permanently from that collection, which will make the ones that still exist, more rare, right?
Yep.
And then just the interaction of NFTs with fungible tokens is something we're really going to be exploring. Now, I know typically folks in our industry kind of steer away from discussions about price and everything like that. But, one of the problems we were trying to solve with NFTs is that when the price of ADA goes up, sometimes the price of the NFTs will go down or stay the same, which doesn't necessarily make sense. So it's like, are the value of NFTs pegged to the dollar, or are they pegged to ADA? By embedding, just a small amount of ADA in the NFTs, we're actually able to correlate the value of these NFTs with the value of the underlying cryptocurrency that's embedded. So
Okay.
So within these NFTs, we actually have a layer 1 ADA, a layer 2, which is our DeFi utility token, and then the NFT project token. So it's like it's a new type of asset class, because the NFT itself has scarcity, and then all of these tokens within also have scarcity as well. So it's something that just doesn't exist in traditional finance. And we thought this was a really interesting and kind of fun way to introduce this new type of asset to the world.
Most certainly is a really interesting way of doing it. In theory, it kind of controls that floor price, because the underlying assets, those tokens, will have a market price that you can pull in from DEXs or an Oracle. And you can always have it on your NFT platform, so you can see what the underlying asset price is compared
Absolutely.
to the token NFT price is. So you can see, like, if the NFT value is dropping below the underlying market value of all the token assets, you can pick it up, and you can always swap it out and sell it for those assets.
100%. So yeah, I mean, as long as the tokens that are embedded within the NFTs have value, it gives you downside protection, and then it also gives you a lot of upside as well. Because some of these, DeFi tokens, like CSwap token, can go crazy, like under certain market conditions, and we're referring to these embedded tokens as intrinsic value. The NFT itself has extrinsic value, but these tokens within have intrinsic value. So it's a much more sophisticated asset class than just an NFT or a fungible token. Yeah. So that's not the only utility for these NFTs. They're also going to be able to use as liquidity boosters in our marketplace, which I'll show you shortly. So how MusliSwap has like Hungry Cows, and there's a couple other ones that give you like a liquidity boost. So these will be the boosters as well for our NFT DEX that we're calling our NFT marketplace. So I'll just briefly show you our staking platform, just because people have kind of complimented us on it. It has so mine actually takes a really long time to load because I have a lot of NFTs. But essentially, the Origins NFTs, which were our first collection, can be staked in Plutus V2 smart contracts to earn daily rewards in CSwap, and then partners were asking for non-custodial or off-chain staking, so we were able to reward them with CSwap, off-chain, and that's kind of you and I were speaking earlier about how this could be used for brand loyalty programs. And the example I gave was like, if you have a shopping, like a grocery store rewards card, you use it at the grocery store, then you can go to the gas station and use it at the gas pump to get a discount on your gas. But the issue is with that is that, the gas station and the grocery store have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, on some sort of integration between these reward systems so that their systems can talk to one another. But with this type of scalable staking platform, we can give our partners rewards for using our platform, like pretty much instantly. We just have to, throw them up on here, and then they can, stake for rewards. And so I could go into the Finzo too and talk about how we were able to use this staking platform to do like a fair initial offering and stuff, but we don't have enough time for that. So I'm gonna, if anybody has any questions, they're free to reach out to us. But I'm gonna jump into the marketplace because this is definitely the thing that most people are excited about right now.
Okay.
So have you heard anything about our marketplace, Pete, or is this your first time?
This will be my first time looking into the marketplace. So I'd take me through the entire setup. I know it's a little bit unique, so I'd love to learn a little bit more.
Yeah. So essentially what we have here is a DEX for NFTs. So a lot of folks who are super interested in NFTs don't really know a lot about how DEXs work, and then a lot of people who are in DeFi might not really understand the value proposition behind NFTs. So we're really hoping that our platform and this solution in general can like bridge the gap between the two because it has the best of both worlds. So let me just go into the high level numbers just so you can see that people are using this. We have over 300,000 ADA of liquidity of TVL, which I believe would put us 15th on DeFi Llama within Cardano. Pretty crazy, right? I mean, we're still in beta, and a lot of people don't even know about us. So that integration with DeFi Llama should be done shortly, and this we believe this is going to grow quite a bit. We have 773,000 ADA worth of volume, which is quite a bit for we only have 50 collections right now, and we're in beta, so people are really enjoying using this. Now I can sort. These are all NFT projects here, and there's two different views. So there's a list view that kind of shows it, kind of like you would see on like an actual DEX. Like these are liquidity pools for NFTs. But then we also have a more art friendly view because we don't want to lose sight of the fact that this is art, and we value art. We value like rarities, we value the cultural aspects of like NFTs, and so we wanted to kind of provide both views so that we don't lose sight of the fact that NFTs are awesome and not just pay attention to the financial side. But
well, it caters then for both sides of the users, the two different type of users. The DeFi user, which is what you're showing now, and then the NFT collector, which is the grid view that you're showing before. So it depending on their use case or their user type, they'll be introduced to the platform a lot better, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for explaining that so eloquently. Yeah, I mean we're in beta, so this interface is pretty simple, and we want to make it easy to use. But I mean you can sort by volume, price, everything like that. You can search. If I want to see anything with ape in it, I just type ape, and now I got all the ape projects. It's pretty easy to like navigate and move around between the collections. But I'm going to sort by volume now. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through. Let's look at the Ape Society, for instance. They're crushing it, and they're have the most volume on our platform, so they're using it quite a bit. But so the TVL, and there's tooltips ahead of these if you don't quite understand what's going on here. But this is saying that there's 8 Ape Society NFTs in the pool, and there's 52,424 ADA in the pool. So essentially, we're pairing these NFTs with this ADA so that you can trade in and out of the pool without like a partner. So instead of like a peer-to-peer trade like you would have on JPEG Store, here you're actually trading with the liquidity pool. So it's,
okay,
yeah, so it's instant.
So when a user puts up, looking at it from a DEX, when you put liquidity into a trading pair on a DEX, you need to put in the ADA and then the other asset. Are we putting in both assets here, the Ape Society NFT and ADA, when we're putting it into the pool?
Yeah, so we seeded the seed liquidity for all these projects. So we put in 10 Ape Society NFTs, and then at the time, I think we paired it with 25,000 ADA or 30,000 ADA, something like that. But the price was very different then, so you can see that, like, there's a lot more ADA in the pool than there was before. We've also replenished the pool to some degree, so that's definitely a factor as well. But when community liquidity is not open right now, but sometime soon, I would say within the next 3 to 5 weeks, you're going to be able to add liquidity and earn ADA rewards and CSwap rewards, just like you would for providing liquidity in a pool on MusliSwap or MinSwap. But the difference is with this, you can just provide. It's not a one-to-one correlation like it is with tokens. So it's like I could provide just Ape Society NFTs, or I could provide just ADA to the pool. And so it provides some more flexibility. It's a little bit different than how a fungible tokens DEX works, but in principle, it's kind of the same thing. So further expanding on that, there's 3 types of curve. There's a linear curve, which means that every time you buy an NFT, the price will go up. And then every time when you sell an NFT, the price will go down. So this works kind of like a regular DEX. The price is automatically set based off of supply and demand. In the future, we'll have an exponential curve and then a product-based curve, which is just like you would have on like MinSwap or Wing Riders. The reason why most projects probably won't use a product curve is because you need a lot of NFTs for that equation to really make sense. So maybe in the future, and we're talking to Vegas Pool over at Hosky, maybe in the future, and we'll just take a look at Hosky. Maybe in the future, Hosky, which currently just has a 0.2 ADA spread, and we kind of jokingly called this the Hosky toilet bowl, because you can just dump your Hosky NFTs in here and get instant ADA, right? And similarly buy them out. I mean, you can see all the transactions on here, like pages and pages and pages of transactions of people buying and selling their Hosky NFTs. So like, here's a transaction. This person bought 1, 2, 3, 4 Hosky NFTs, and you can see that each time they bought a Hosky NFT, the price went up by 0.2 ADA, right?
Interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah, so if I wanted to buy some Hosky NFTs, you can see when I select one, see how the price on all the other ones went up by 0.2 ADA? So I select this one for 10.6.
Yeah.
Now they're 10.8. Now they're 11. I can select that one and this one. And if I go to buy, you can see I'm paying 0.2 ADA for more for each of those.
That is so interesting. That is really, really cool.
Yeah. And so what if I were to execute this transaction, then the new price would be it looks like 11.4 ADA. So then the next person that comes in would have to pay 11.4 ADA to buy a Hosky NFT, because the pool's hot. People are buying, right? Yeah, but the cool thing is, if someone comes in and buys, several NFTs in a collection, and let me show you one that might make a little bit more sense.
That's cool, because now if I bought low, then I can come back in and sell mine as the market price goes up, and I can visually trade it there within the DEX too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you really have to keep an eye on these collections, because let's say I wanted to sell, you know, or excuse me, I wanted to buy all these NFTs. I love the Ubuntu tribe. I think the price is going to go up. So I'm buying all of these, and I'm willing to buy up to 119 ADA. Now the price will go up to 119 ADA for the sell price. So if you are like, hey, I need to sell some Ubuntu NFTs, this person just bought like 10 of them, you could come in here and start selling your NFTs and getting like a nice price for them, right? So it's a lot different from like the way JPEG Store works. And once more people start using this, the more useful that it's going to become. It works really well in like high volume conditions, just like a DEX.
That
I
is really
think,
cool.
yeah, someone the other day posted on Twitter that they made like 80 ADA or something just by putting in a collection offer on JPEG Store and then selling it into a liquidity pool on CSwap. So even during a bear market, there's opportunities to make some ADA like with your NFTs, like because of our platform. So we're pretty
Brilliant.
stoked about that.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and we're also working on tier based pools. So like with our collection, it's super easy. We have our like bronze NFTs have their own pool, and then we have the silver ones have their own pool, and then the golds have their own pool. And this is going to be really great for some other projects like cornucopias, for instance, because right now the cornucopias lands, these are all floors, so the only NFTs in this pool are small lands. So in the future, we'll have a small lands pool, a medium lands pool, a large land pool, and it'll be really efficient for people that want to like trade their lands. Maybe you want to swap a land, like it's really good for swapping. So like let's say I wanted to swap out one of my NFTs. Let's say I really want like the guy in like the orange suit with like the long hair, and like I don't like this blue suit guy. I want orange suit guys. So I could sell this NFT, right? And I would pay royalties to the project and everything like that. Then the buy price would go down to 245. So I'm selling at 245 and I'm able to buy one at 245. So the only difference I'm paying is the actual royalties. So it's very cost efficient to swap out an NFT. And I think in the future, we're going to actually add the ability to swap just in one transaction and just limit the fees.
That's really cool, especially if like the offer price on your NFT might be lower on a different marketplace as well. Like the rarities might not be desirable or something. At least you can get it at a decent price and then be able to swap into something that you do like.
Yeah, I mean, we had someone who was able to sell 2 floor mallards into the mallards pool and then pull out 2 above floor mallards, and add them to their collection, and they were able to do so really cost efficiently because it's on the other marketplaces there's no way that you can sell and buy an NFT for the same price like you can on CSwap. So it's like
cool. Nice.
Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I like it. It's a totally different way of trading and buying and selling NFTs. So I can't wait until this one gets to the point where I can add NFT collections to it as well and see this whole thing expand beyond the collections that you got at the moment.
Yeah, when community liquidity comes online, it's going to be a whole new ball game, and when you're able to provide liquidity, you're going to be able to earn CSwap and ADA when people trade NFTs in and out of your pool. So essentially, you'll be like your own marketplace for NFTs, and you'll be collecting the fees and rewards instead of the middleman.
Yeah, that is cool. And I'd also like to see what it'd be like to launch an NFT project directly with just a pool, as opposed to launching it on a minting platform and having it all minted and then like dumped in here at like 0.18 and then eventually see the price go up as people buy the NFTs off there, and then it kind of like would maybe stabilize at a market price when people determine what is a fair market price for the NFT collection.
That sounds like a really cool idea. We would love to be a part of that if you decide to do that. But we have been, talking to Eddie at Cyberpunk Platypus, Josh at Reflect, Daniel, who's working on real world assets for Zengate, about getting tokenized real world assets on our platform as well. So, speaking of that, we're talking about, putting properties and fractionalized real estate and commodities. And I mean, this is where we think we're headed. So it's just NFTs for now, but the other DEXs just deal with fungible tokens. We want to deal with like tokenized real world assets, and we think that is really going to bring people into crypto. When you can trade fractions of real estate and gold and silver and coffee, in such a manner on the blockchain in a decentralized and trustless manner. I mean, it's just gonna destroy the traditional finance system. So really looking forward to that.
Well, we're going to see a lot more efficiencies in trading with this kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see that grow and reward assets come onto the platform and see what you guys come up with it. But we're still a little bit early for that, I suspect. But we'll see it come in time for sure.
Yeah, and there's also applications for gaming too, because you know how we created these NFTs with tokens embedded inside? Imagine if you had like a rare sword in like a Dungeons and Dragons game, and that rare sword actually had ecosystem tokens embedded inside the sword. So the sword would not only be valuable in the game because it's rare, but it'd also be valuable in the game because it has like a large amount of game, in-game economy tokens embedded in the sword.
That's cool.
You could burn the sword, making all the other swords even more rare, and then you could use the gaming tokens from inside the sword to purchase other items that you needed. And that's just like really the most basic example. We have a lot cooler ideas, and we're actually discussing them with some of our partners like Quick and Inmates and even like the Reflex team on how we can create more dynamic in-game economies like in the gaming realm. So we're really looking at expanding our platform in a lot of different directions, and like it's just super exciting. It's what keeps us going each and every day.
Majorly awesome. I can't wait to see some of these really cool innovations come into place. Now, we're coming up to the end of the allocated time for this interview. I know there's one last thing you probably want to talk about. Do you want to go over the token and what's coming next with the platform?
Sure, yeah. I mean, we're going to be rolling out our token here in kind of a stealth release. We're not into a lot of hype. We're more about providing value and focusing on that. The reason we're launching our token is because we need it for upcoming functionality. So there's going to be 3 initial utilities for the token. One is going to be, the liquidity rewards, like I was just talking to you guys about on the NFT marketplace for providing liquidity. The second is going to be something really cool that's kind of top secret called the degen pools. So on the marketplace right now, you can see a tab that's called CNFT pools. We're going to be adding a tab called codename degen pools, and this is going to be a really fun way to use CSwap with NFTs. It will be completely free, and we think people are going to love it. It's the problem we were trying to solve is that people weren't having enough fun in the bear market. We're going to change all of that with the degen pools, I promise you.
All right, okay.
And then the third utility is revenue sharing. So so that's one of the great utilities of our token, is that we're going to be sharing our platform fees for both the NFT marketplace and our fungibles DEX, which is currently in development and should be out on testnet by the end of Q4, and hopefully live on mainnet, working collaboratively with our NFT DEX like in Q1 of next year. So there's a lot to look forward to.
Of course, none of this is financial advice. We don't know what's going to happen with tokens. It could go up, could go down. It's a speculative market, so please do your research in regards to anything to do with tokens and trading.
We're building a new type of system, and it's tough to not talk about finance sometimes, because we feel like what we're doing is very disruptive to finance. But I agree 100%, with what you're saying.
Now, with the token launch on for these various different aspects, does this end the ISPO that you guys are doing, or is that still ongoing? And when would users be getting tokens from that ISPO?
So we've been working hard to create like a really easy to use like harvest module, so you can actually harvest your tokens from the ISPO, the origin staking, the partner staking, and the Finzo staking, all in one easy to use module that shows you the totals you've earned in each of them. And it's super nice, super excited to share that with everybody. And we are going to keep the ISPO going. We're going to change the bonus structure from the early bird bonus to something else, because obviously once the token's out, it's not quite early bird anymore. But we're gonna continue to incentivize folks to participate in our activities like our ISPO. The origin staking's amounts are not going to change. We are going to make some adjustments to our partner staking program. We'll put all that in a Medium article.
All right, great. I'll look out for that, and I'll add it to the show notes for this one whenever it comes out as well. And looking forward to getting my hands on some of these CSwap tokens when the it's all claimable from the ISPO, because that's my first entry point into the ecosystem. I've been staking for a long time now, so I can't wait to get some of those tokens, start trading, and have a bit more of a play around with the platform. I've also got a whole bunch of these NFTs, the Origin NFTs. I don't think I'm staking them either, so I've got to get into the platform and start staking too.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to miss out on that. You're giving up free CSwap. But the good news is that the program's not changing, and people are going to know that CSwap has a tangible value, and you'll definitely have plenty of time to stake them. So get them up there on the platform.
All right, awesome, John. Thank you so much for taking me through an update around CSwap and everything that you guys are doing. I love the ideas and different concepts here. They are different to what's out there in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment. And having these underlying assets within the NFTs, the staking program, the whole liquidity aspects around the pools on the NFT marketplace as well. All brilliant stuff, John.
Thanks so much, Pete. And we're excited to keep sharing more with you. As we continue to add things. We have 12 development initiatives for Q4, and we're working with tab tools, CNFT tools, a lot of different projects to really add a lot of data integration and interesting functionality for you guys over the next few months. So definitely stay tuned. It's going to be a great quarter for us.
All right, brilliant. We'll catch up again soon, and I'm sure you can astound me with a whole bunch more updates. So we'll chat soon.
Awesome. Sounds good, Pete. Thank you.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.